self-care is radical because this capitalistic system functions off people being unwell and unregulated. People at the bottom being tired, unregulated, overworked. It is a sacrifice for the people at the top to have leisure. Okay, this is why I feel like magic exists, because it's almost like in society, just by the virtue of being born, you agree to capitalism, or you're forced to interact with it. You agree to, I wouldn't say you agree, but you're born into racism, misogyny, all these things. And all these systems function off the premise that you have to prove yourself to them in order to survive. For instance, with 9-to-5 work, you might get paid $15 an hour. But literally a product that you can pick up at the store or food that you can buy for yourself can cost more than $15 easily. So saying like a product is worth more than 1 hour of your presence. And to get more money, you have to prove yourself worthy to the system and work harder and invest more time. And what actually ends up happening is the hardest working people get paid the least. The hardest working people actually have the least. So when you enter in this binary of having into the system of where you have to prove yourself, it's almost like you'll be proving yourself to the end of time. I really believe that the unregulation of workers pays for the leisure of the people at the top. And I hate that. And it sometimes I feel like I'm a baby adult. I'm about to be 22. And I feel like everything, the prices are so high. The world is in disarray. And it feels like everything is put out there to make you unregulated and stressed out and in fear of like how you're going to feed yourself and just worried about what's going on. And it's literally meant to make you feel bad. I think it's meant to make you feel like you want to take yourself out. So it's almost like the energy is being siphoned, because if there are people who are on the other side who are experiencing abundance from the suffering of other people. So it's almost like some type of spell where it's like people believe that they need to prove themselves. People believe, I don't even know. People are just gonna call me crazy and say to grow up. But it just feels like the world tells you that you are not worthy as you are, and you must prove yourself. And oftentimes proving yourself it's a benefit to the system and not necessarily you, because you keep perpetually having to prove yourself. I also think about like Christianity and religion, where they tell people you're a born sinner, which makes no sense. How can you tell a baby that they're a sinner? But it's the idea that you are not worthy and you must prove yourself to be worthy. And it's like, who are you proving yourself to? To a company? To people? To other people to validate you? Like, who are you proving yourself to? And does that really benefit you? It doesn't. And I feel like there's just a lot of emotional pain that comes with moving through life. A lot of stressors. And then you have the stressors of the economy. And it makes you feel like you want to give up. And to not give up and to still take care of yourself and show up for yourself and not self-abandon in the best capacity that you can, that is radical, because it feels like everything is against that. I feel like everything is set up to make you dysregulated. You know, apps are literally built to make you addicted to them. work days are structured to the point where you're spending your entire day at a company. You don't have time to regulate yourself. And then we have, racism. And there's trauma that comes with racism that is carried down the line with epigenetics. So we have all these like problems in our families and issues in our families to where we're emotionally overwhelmed by them too. And then it's almost like the machine earlier in history was working really hard to put itself into place. And now it's almost like everything is automatic. And it runs with, instead of it being blatant racism, it's more covert. And now we've gotten to a point where now we hurt each other. It feels like they're just systems working against you being regulated and you being well. So to still have a relationship with yourself and take care of yourself in the midst of all those things that affect you every day, that is an act of rebellion by simply existing and refusing, not taking yourself out, meaning, can't say it on YouTube, not taking yourself out, or just giving up. I think we're at a point where we can't really fight these things physically. It's more of a spiritual thing. So that's why I feel like self-care is radical. It's like a refusal to lay down. It's a refusal to give up. It's a refusal to accept certain things. Anyway, I gotta go. And what it's really saying is I'm still in the mother effing house. I'm still in the house, like Tiffany Pollard said. I think I heard something from T.S. Madison where she said, my presence is my advocacy. But like, presence is a huge thing. To occupy space as authentically, to occupy space without compromising, to still take care of yourself the best way you can whilst operating the world, operating with these systems, that's advocacy. That is rebellion. It's very radical. But like I said, I do have to go. I do. Oh my God, I do. Not too much, my room is messy. Because I'm a messy girl. Gotta go.